No, you're not seeing things. Is this working? Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah, I thought so. It is the bridesmaids giving the speech and not the best men in attractive red dresses. Although, of course, I cannot guarantee that nothing of that sort went on the stag do. But I think we might have to wait for those kind of revelations.
It's a nice black little mother, actually.
For those of you who don't know us yet, we are Hayley's bridesmaids and old school friends Gemma and Nicola. And on behalf of both of us and the other girls, Jess and Natalia, we would first like to thank Steve for his kind words and to Hayley for giving us the privilege of standing here beside you today. It's a real honour, and of course I hardly need to say again how beautiful Hayley looks. And thank you. I just want to say thank you for picking these beautiful dresses. They are gorgeous.
Wouldn't expect anything else from Hayley then. Hayley asked me to give a speech on a windy morning in Birmingham when we were all feeling pretty rough after a 2-day booze fest on her hen do. Yeah. I think she slightly took advantage of my hungover state there, but as most of you know, especially probably Steve, you don't say no to Hayley. As Gemma also found out when she agreed to do the speech with me.
We know it's a bit unusual for bridesmaids to be giving a speech, but again, as most of you probably know, Hayley can be a little unusual. Certainly she doesn't like to stick to the menu. If any of you have been out to dinner with Hayley, you'll know exactly what I mean by this. Can I have that without mushrooms, no spring onions, extra tuna, and definitely no dirty peppers? But that's just because Hayley knows exactly what she likes, and once she finds something she likes, she's very loyal to it, which is lucky to see.
I know this because Hayley's been a very loyal friend of mine for the best part of 11 years, and even longer for Gemma. Although we were in the same form at school for quite a few years, it was only in sixth form, which we started in 1999, yes, really old, that we really all bonded, passing notes around in history classes, making fools of ourselves at the sixth form disco masters. Took Hayley driving us everywhere. She was the first person to pass her driving test.
Yeah, who would ever have guessed that our Hales once drove into town with our friend Lee in her car boot would turn into a respectful and responsible history teacher. She might be a responsible history teacher now, but we will always be here to remind her of her less respectful days, singing Phantom of the Opera songs at the top of her voice while waiting for a taxi in Wilmslow, smuggling mini bottles of vodka into her handbag on nights out in Leicester, and just generally being drunk quite a lot.
I must admit, I thought Hayley might be maturing slightly with her impending marriage and leaving such things behind her, but then obviously a few months ago we had the hen do. I know. Yeah, girls are already laughing. I know that the hens are all here, as well as some boyfriends and partners, so I'm not going to spill too many secrets. But let's just say the Friday night in particular was fab, and that my name is Fabio. But it's quite a good indication of what a fantastic friend Hayley is, that when Jess and I started organising the hen do, she told us that she might be inviting something like 26 people, which is quite a lot. But that is because it's just impossible not to like Hayley. She just makes friends wherever she goes. She's one of the most loyal, fun, non-judgmental and just generally brilliant friends you could ever have. And whether we're down in shots in a bar or having a natter at each other's houses, she just never fails to make me laugh.
Hayley and I have a brilliant friendship. We sometimes don't speak for weeks, which does sound terrible, but we always pick it up where we left off, just like we met yesterday. And to me, that is a true sign of friendship. I don't have to try with Hayley. I can just sit with her and be comfortable. We talk about everything, and I truly mean everything.
Don't need to give us details.
But it goes without saying that we are all so pleased and happy for our Hales that she's found someone who values all these amazing qualities that she has. As most of you will now know, Shortly after Hayley met Steve, she was offered a job at a school in Surrey and moved down south. What you might not know is that it was my flat in London she was staying in when she had her first interview for the job. And I remember us talking about Steve, who she'd just been on a few dates with at that time, and what rubbish timing it would be if she was offered the job. Of course, she was offered the job, and luckily for me and for her Surrey friends, she joined us in the south for a few years, and we did even get Steve down there for a year before he got sick of people looking at him funny when he asked for gravy with chips and then he put them up again.
We are kidding, of course. It must have been a tough couple of years for both of them, with moving about and constant trips up and down the motorway, but they did it all with good humour, and the North and me eventually got Hayley back.
So, Steve, I apologise on behalf of the South for keeping her for a couple of years, but it does go to show that even from the very first few weeks of their relationship, they were committed to each other. And I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that the pair of them have no trouble with their marriage vows, because they've already proved their dedication to each other.
Now all we can really say again is how very, very happy all of Hayley's friends are to see that our fantastically loyal, lovely, kind, and most importantly, always colour coordinated friend has found the time to look after her and keep her the happy and bubbly girl we know and love. Only one word of advice, Steve. Just try and keep your car parked at the living room.
She's been away for a night, she'll see the kitchen.
So, all that remains is for us to raise a toast on behalf of the two of us and the other two bridesmaids, to our gorgeous bride and her lucky groom, Hayley and Steve.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy, I'm one of the best men. If you have noticed, we have got sweepstake running over here, so somebody keeps on clapping to keep it going for as long as possible.
What's she got, an hour and a half?
Well, I think it's on 42 minutes, so 5 minutes and we're done. We're going well.
Speed up.
Before I start embarrassing the groom, I'd like to say, doesn't the bride look absolutely stunning today? Yeah. And don't all the bridesmaids look amazing as well. For those of you that are paying attention in the ceremony, you'll notice that Stevie does have two best men. For those of you wondering why, there are two potential reasons. One is Stevie wanted to appoint the best man for the occasion, but sadly couldn't find one, so he got two barely competent ones instead. Or
who's the quickest?
Or two, there is so much material for us to get through, we need two people for the job. We'll let you decide after the speeches. So I'm Andy Greenwood, or some people perhaps more familiar with my particularly unimaginative nickname gained in my school years, and yes, you guessed it, it's Greenie. It's back in those school days where I first encountered Stevie. It was my first week of secondary school, and 11 years of age, daunting as you can imagine. To further compound my anxiety, our teacher, Miss Moore, whose pale and ghost-like features resembled something from the afterlife. My intention was to be one of the cool kids, carving a profile and position that others would admire. This meant gaining a seat at the back of the class, where I could look out the window, fire paper missiles, and ignore Miss Moore at every possible convenience. As it is just typical with my looks, by the time I went in, all the seats at the back were taken. So I quickly looked around for somewhere else to sit. My bad luck sometimes really does know no bounds. The only seat available was next to an unassuming boy at the front of the class, until you took into account his extraordinarily large head. When I mean head, of course, I do mean the head on his shoulder. We've been good friends, but never that close. Ask Hayley about that, I know nothing. So I sat down next to the boy at the front with a large head. We nervously introduced each other. This was Stevie, and little did I know at that point we'd become best friends for the next 20 years. Not only was his appearance a bit weird, but so was his introduction. Hi, my name is Stevie, and I was born in the home of Rolls Royce. At age 11, I have to admit this is fairly impressive and a bit snobbish. This has been Stevie's favourite line of introduction for the rest of his life, and I'm sure a fair few of you have heard this old favourite trotted out over the years. But I feel I must correct a few fundamental facts. Although Stevie and I share the same birthplace in Crewe, and while it's true there was a large manufacturing site there, that's as far as it goes. Rolls Royce in actual fact started in South Manchester, then moved to Derby, before arriving in Crewe, but it's no longer a Rolls Royce factory. So, once you've taken that out of the introduction, once you take Rolls out of the equation, what are you left with? One of the options is, hi, my name is Stevie and I was born in the home of one of the largest railway junctions in the UK. Or you can adapt the quote with famous author Bill Bryson's take on Crewe. My name is Stevie and I was born in the armpit of Cheshire. For the next 5 years at school we were best friends. My cool stage was constantly ruined by Stevie in this time. Not only was his large head a constant source of music, I mean, we did joke it did have his own gravitational pull. And Blige used to get trapped and have to take an Apollo-type slingshot trajectory to release himself from its irresistible force. But the most uncool area of Stevie's character was his dress sense. I remember him turning up to a non-uniform day at school with your stereotypical grandad jumper. Knitted, bright blue, woolly jumper with a massive American flag emblazoned on the front. Not what most kids in the early 90s would choose to wear. This was Stevie. I thought over time his fashion sense would improve, but unfortunately it's been an enduring issue. Only in the last few months Stevie turned up to a pub wearing bleached jeans, whose random pattern resembled that of a cow. So horrific was his fashion faux pas, even the bouncer felt obliged to join in with piss taking. Insisting he couldn't go into the pub wearing those. All I can say is thank God Hayley has taste and has intervened, otherwise we'll be wearing something completely bizarre today. Stevie and I did a lot of memorable first things together. Buying our first porn mag was one of them. When I say we, I mean I bought the porn mag. Stevie managed to convince me to buy the mag and cycle 10 miles to his house. That's impressive powers of persuasion. Especially when Stevie kept the mag. I got no benefits and stiff legs from cycling. Whereas Stevie got all the benefits and, something else was quite good. So, I hear you ask why stay friends for so long when he ruined any chance of me being a cool kid at school and he managed to get me to take all the risks. And this continues today, this risk taking. Only 2 days ago Stevie convinced me while driving in the car the puddle in front of me was fine to go through. Well, you guessed it wasn't, and my car got flooded halfway through. So why am I still friends? Well, it's because Stevie is one of the most loyal friends you could ask for. He's always kept in touch with all his friends and brings everyone together. He's been there for me, and I'm sure a lot of his friends feel the same way. So Hayley will have a trade-off in their relationship. Stevie may not be the coolest or wisest person, but he's extremely loyal. So unfortunately, you'll never be able to get rid of him. So I've done the early years of Stevie's life. I'm going to now hand over to Paul to do the later years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, I'm your best man. Before I go into Stevie, really, and what I know of him, I'd just like to say, firstly, Hayley, you do look absolutely gorgeous today. Seriously, absolutely beautiful. You look stunning. Right, Steve. I was honoured when Steve asked me to be 50% best man. Especially after only a month ago, I think it is, I was actually asked to be 100% best man by a chap over there who I now refer to as my proper friend. It's nice anyway, thank you. I'm very joking. No, I've been good friends with Stephen for I think it's about 8 years now. We actually met because we both worked at the same place, a company called Tallies, who are sort of a defence company that build sonars for submarines. We didn't actually know each other when we first worked there. I was sort of involved with developing complex mathematical formulas for one of the most sophisticated sort of pieces of wartime machinery in the world. Steve's job was to screw things in. Seriously. He had a little belt and he put screwdrivers in. Well, don't laugh, because, sometimes it's tricky, because some screws you have to turn clockwise to tighten, some anti-clockwise. Well, we actually met on a work to do. I think it was in Manchester. And I was there with quite a lot of my work friends and also non-work friends as well. And Steve was there. I think he was sort of on his own, which now makes perfect sense. But sort of later on in the night, Steve came over and didn't know me and just said, do you mind if I join you and your group of friends? I was like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't realise he meant for the next 8 years. Just for the night, really. So, watch what you say. And in fact, Steve's now integrated himself so well with my group of friends, he goes on holiday with them. On his recent trip to Iran with a few of my friends, I only heard about it when they came home. That's a nice time, Steve. Over the last 8 years, I've learned a few things about Steve. But before I tell you my opinion of him, I actually went round earlier today, and this is true, just asking a few guests really to sum Steve up, what they think of Steve in either one word or a sentence. And this is true, this is what some people came back with, sort of the top 5 or 6. Number 1, portly. I think that's quite diplomatic. This is serious, this guy, I haven't made this up. Number 2, controversial, not good enough for Hayley. That's why Hayley's dad. I'm joking. I wasn't sure about one. Number 3, and this is serious, ginger. Giving the impression that you're not actually ginger, are you, Steve, unless you are downstairs. Number 4, nice bottom, and that's by Shout. I don't know whether that's true or not. Actually, I do. It is true. Number 5, very generous in buying the best men drinks all night, and that's from 2 anonymous people. And finally, the best looking man in the room, and that's by Steve himself. But so that's your views on Steve. My view on Steve, well, Andy's already mentioned a few other things. The main thing that sticks out to me is his terrible, terrible taste in music. It's unbelievable. There's a nice story, really. I know you won't be surprised when to bring it up. We were travelling back from Leeds to Manchester. Steve was driving. Many years ago, we were both single, and we actually had a couple of girls sort of in the back, friends of friends who were taken back to Manchester. many years ago, many friends, Obviously, I wanted to try and look cool with these single guys. And I sort of turned around to these ladies and said, she'll put some tunes on or something. And they were like, do what you like, So Steve piped up and said, well, I've got some CDs in the glove box, you might want to have a look at them. Fair enough. So coolly went over, opened the glove compartment. Firstly, to be presented with the largest tub of Vaseline I've ever seen. Which shocked me first of all. And the girls in the back were giggling. I was like, Steve, what's that for? And like Steve said, he said, for me lips. For me lips? Like Mick Jagger's or something like that. Anyway, we got past that, and I found these CDs eventually and flipped through them, and I found one called Steve's Mega Mix. CD he produced himself, his favourite song, so I'll try this. So I stuck it on shuffle, press play. First song that came on, 9 to 5. Good God. The girls in the back were just laughing. I was like, what's this? And he just said, well, it's a good song, isn't it? Fair enough. So I very quickly skipped to try and salvage the mission. Next song was YMCA. Good God. I thought, right, I'll give it one more go. Next song, In the Navy. So after that, I just switched it off and we sat in silence for the next 2 hours. I don't think Steve's taste in music has improved really since then. Quite recently, Steve rang me up and said he's got tickets for a concert to go and see them. And I thought, who is it? Someone quite cool and modern, sort of Kaiser Chiefs or Stereophonics or something. He said, no, it's Status Quo. Right, it's alright, Steve, you can go on your own. Steve loves his music, and I'm sure you'll notice later on when on the dance floor, if you hear someone suddenly clapping along to the music very loudly and tapping the foot out of time with the music, you know exactly who that is. Everywhere we go, it's always the same. The other thing about Steve, really, is his dress sense that Andy's already mentioned. Again, just in some horrific shirts, Steve, really. Steve's not keen in his on his designer labels. The cheaper the better. Really. He's the only man I know who's been refused entry to a club for his outfit being too cheap. That's what the bouncer said. Many occasions in the past, Steve's had to borrow some of my clothes, and in particular some shoes he borrowed 5 years ago. Still waiting for those shoes, Steve. Still got them. We've actually been on quite a few holidays together, me and Steve, sort of lads' holidays to sort of exotic places like Zante, Turkey, Benidorm, places like that. And obviously these holidays have involved sort of mainly drinking really and sort of chilling out on the beach. I don't know if you've ever seen Steve really on the beach, but certainly the German men flock round him so that they can look tanned and healthy. As I said, most of our holidays really involved drinking mainly. I remember one particular night on holiday, I think it was Zante. We didn't think the night was going quick enough really. We thought, how can we liven up? So we thought we'd go to a local supermarket and just get a big bottle of vodka and just neck it really. So we walked in there, we were looking at the vodka and sort of trying to find a cheap one. So why not? And I was looking at €10, €8, €4, a bit dodgy. Thought €3, right, that'll do. And Steve shouted from the other side of the supermarket, I found one over here. Interestingly, not next to the alcohol, next to the paint. Bottle of vodka called Stroganoff. €1.50. So we bought that, and we pretty much met it. Went very well, shall we say after that, but we enjoyed it. As well as going on holiday, we've been on various nights out in the UK. One quite recently in Chester, actually, Steve, you may remember. Chester was interesting because we were staying in a hotel, and the hotel had given us a curfew, strange for a hotel. So we locked the doors at 2:30 in the morning, and we put the alarm on, so if you're not back by then, you just don't get in. Fair enough. And we all knew this. Well, we thought the whole group knew this. So we were all back in time, all the group, apart from Steve, who'd somehow gone missing. Apparently he turned up sort of an hour or two later and couldn't get in, couldn't get hold of us all because we were all busy sleeping and switched our phones off. And Steve had to sleep outside like a tramp in the sunset. Rumour has it, at one point he was wrestling a tramp for a blanket. That's in warm. But it wasn't all bad because when he actually woke up in the morning, he found some coins had been thrown sort of near him, so made a bit of money. It was a low point for Steve really, but things have picked up since then. Steve obviously bought a house reasonably recently, a few years ago. He was into DIY. When I say DIY, Steve's DIY means demolishing things with a large sledgehammer. Things didn't change when Steve met Hayley. I've been told that on their second date, I think it is, obviously Hayley made a big effort to sort of nice dress and lots of makeup. Knocked on the door, went to Steve's house. Steve opened the door, completely covered in dust, with a sledgehammer in his hand, having just knocked down his chimney. Starting to get a bit serious now, really. Obviously, when Steve proposed to Hayley, I was delighted, and I knew that we could make a great couple. Mainly because Hayley's a teacher and she's used to dealing with immature, stroppy attention seekers. But no, seriously,
It's alright, my friends then.
Getting near the end now. I'd just like to mention the stag do, actually. Steve wanted to go to Poland for 4 days, really, which sounded good. Obviously, can't really talk about what happened on the stag do, it's a tradition, but we sort of explored some churches and local libraries and art galleries, appreciated the local architecture, had the odd shandy. But I must say the evening entertainment was ravishing. I shan't say any more. Other than on one of the nights, we actually made Steve wear a French maid's outfit. Now trying to find one of those large enough for Steve to fit in is quite tricky. But I do actually have photographs of that, and I'm charging people 20p to see the freak dressed up, so if you want to see those, feel free. Getting close to the end now. Really, my story brings us up to date, really, where obviously today Steve has gained a loving, caring, beautiful wife, and Hayley has gained a new name and a pickup truck. No, seriously, I can see why you've chosen each other. You're both lovely people, beautiful people, very caring and thoughtful, and I'm genuinely honoured to be friends of both of you, and I always will. And I'd like to finish really by asking you to be upstanding for the final toast. And just to say really that I'm sure we all wish you both a very long, happy, successful life together. To the bride and groom. Thank you very much.